أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي ربنا زدنا علما آمين يا رب العالمين. Welcome to Chronicles of Surf. We are learning about the irregularities in the surf. Alhamdulillah, we have started the last irregularity. We have already learned about the mahmuz and mudaf. We started with mu'tal when we have waw or ya as our root letters. So these are the harf illa. In mu'talla, we are going to learn about these five types of irregularities. We have already covered mudaf when our second and the third root letters were same. We learned about mahmuz when one of the root letters was hamza, the fa kalima, ain kalima, or the lam kalima. Now, alhamdulillah, in mu'tal we are going to learn about these five irregularities. We have started with al misal when our first root letter, the fa kalima, is a vowel. It can be waw, it can be ya, it can be one of these harf illa. So let's continue with al misal. When a first root letter is fa kalima, we know that misal can be misal wawi or it can be misal yai. And misal wawi and yai both can be found in salasi mujarrad and salasi mazid fihi. We learn that to learn about misal, we need to learn the rules of ilal, and that are four types. Like it can be like changing one weak letter into another, like it can be dropping a root letter, or also like transferring a haraka to another letter and also changing that letter accordingly. So we have these types of the changes or modifications that we are learning. We started with the first one, the first example that has the root letters wow, ain, and dal. We saw that the first letter, the fa kalima, was this is harf illa. We applied it to a first family, this family one, daraba yadribu, and we saw that for fi'l mudari, we see the ilal bil hasf, that is the dropping of harf illa. So this is the hasf is happening just for the ease of the pronunciation, for the smooth pronunciation. The points that we need to remember, the first point uh, till now is that the past tense is not affected at all. We need to remember that the fi'l madi is not affected at all. This is what we are going to see in other families as well. But right now, this rule is very important to remember that Fi'l Madi is not affected at all. We do see the Harf illa, the Fa kalima in the first verb, that is Fi'l Madi. So Daraba, from Daraba we have Wa'ada. Then we see that the present tense drops the harf illa, the wall all together. We see here the fi'l mudari, ya'idu. We do not see the fa kalima that was wow here. The irregularity is wow here. And we see that it just drops the vowel. Then we have this simple masdar like this. We have two masdars for this. Wa'ada, wa'adan, wa'idatan. And then we have the simple wa'idun, like daribun. Then fi'l madi mabni lil majhul is from duriba. We have wu'ida, or we can have alif here instead of waw. We can have wu'ida, we can say u'ida. Then we have fi'l mudari mabni lil majhul. We have yu'adu. Then you can see waw coming back here. We do not see here in fi'l mudari malum, but we do see here in fi'l mudari mabni lil majhul, it is yu'adu. The same as theirs, and we have the mafud on the pattern of madrubun, and we have maw'udan. Then we see in faili and faili nahi the dropping of the waw again, the dropping of the harf illa here, id faili id, and faili nahi la ta'id. Then isim zarf and isim ala on the same patterns. We have three patterns for isim zarf, and then we have three patterns for isim ala. So let's see here the explanation for this wow and dropping of the wow. So here we see the past tense is not changed at all, but we do see for fi'l mudari ya'idu. So the asal of the kalma was yawidu, yawidu or yawidu, where we drop this wow and we have ya'idu. We have ya'idu. The other word that we see on these patterns is wada'a, the wow, dwad, and ain. We see yawa, yawda'u, or you can say yawda'u. So this is yawadu becomes yada'u. Again, we see the dropping of the harf illa. We have yawhabu or yawhabu, then we have again the dropping of the vaw, and we have yahabu. So these are the different types of root letters that can be found for this misal wawi pattern in Salasi Mujarrad, and we see the dropping of the wow, the harf illa wow, and for only Feli Mudare, but there is no change at all for Feli Madi, and we do have Wa'ada, we have Wada'a, we have Wahaba. So these are all Feli Madi on the similar simple pattern. So again, as mentioned that we do see this waw coming back in fi'li mudari mabni lil majhul you adu. So this is fi'li madi fi'li mudari mabni lil majhul. You see that the waw is coming back because also the reason is that it is compatible with the dhamma. So here you see that this is compatible with the Dhamma. You can say that here for Fi'l Mudari, we know that the Waw is not compatible with the Fatha. Waw is not compatible with the Fatha. We know that the compatible letters, that Alif is compatible with the Fatha, Waw is compatible with Dhamma, and Ya is compatible with the Kasra. So here we see the letter before harf illa has a fatha, so that is why the waw is dropped. But as we know that this waw is compatible with ya, with this dhamma, that is why we have this waw coming back in fi'li mudari mabni al majhul. So it is wu'ida or u'ida and yu'adu. So this is the rule that we need to remember for misal wawi, for abab salasi mujarrad, for fi'l mudari mabni lil majhul, that we do have this wow coming back, this root letter, this harf illa for fi'l mudari mabni lil majhul. And also this wow is dropped for fi'l mudari ma'lum, as you can see here. Yawidu becomes ya'idu, yawdau becomes yadau, and yawhabu becomes yahabu. The other rule that we need to remember is that when waw occurs between the ya of fi'l mudari with a fatha and the ain kalima that has a kasra, then the waw is omitted. Then the waw is dropped. As you see here for yo idu, this is dropped here. And also remember that this happens for the Raba family and for Hasiba family, where the ain kalima has a kasra. Ain kalima has a kasra, dariba, yadribu, hasiba, yahsibu, hasiba, yahsibu. So we have this dariba, yadribu, and hasiba, yahsibu. So we do see the ain kalima is maksura, ain kalima has a kasra here. So that is why we have this wow dropped. Also, because we know that it is not easy to pronounce. So that is why the wow has been dropped. So for also for the Fatha family, you see that for sometimes we do see that there are words that belongs to Fataha family. For the Fataha family, the wow is dropped, but mostly what we see that for Daraba and Hasiba family, when there is Ain Kalima has a kasra, we do see this wow drop. So as I mentioned that there are many rules for Misal Wawi, and you can only remember by practicing them. So, therefore, if the verb is misal wawi and belongs to any of these three families, bab daraba, bab hasiba, and bab fataha, we see the waw getting dropped. The waw getting dropped, or it can be um, omitted. So, this is as we are learning about the changing the modifications that we see in misal rules. We have this ilal bil hasf, this dropping of the harf illa, just for the ease of the pronunciation. So remember that for these three families, there are few words in Bab Fataha that we see the dropping of the waw, but for Bab Dariba and Hasiba, we see the dropping of the letter waw, the Hasfe Illa. Also, one more rule that we need to remember is that here, if the Ain kalima and the Lam kalima is one of the huruf halkiya, that is Hamza, Ha, Ain, Ha, Ha, and this Ghain and Kha. We have these letters that are huruf halkiya. So then the waw is dropped, even if the ain kalima has a fatha. As we learned this rule that when we have the ain kalima as kasra, and we see only in these two families, dariba, yadribu, hasiba, yahsibu, we have the waw dropped. But sometimes what happens that we have the huruf halkiya for the ain and the lam kalima. But also we do see that there is no kasra on the ain kalima, but there is a fatha. So also for this type of word, we need to drop the vowel. We need to drop the vowel. This is the rule for misal wawi and for sarasi mujarrad, that if we see the an kalima and the lam kalima is from huruf halkiya, these are the six letters that we see in the an kalima or the lam kalima. So the verb, we need to drop the vowel, even if we have a fatha on the end kalima. Because when we were doing this example here, wa'ada ya'idu, we see in the faili mudare, we see the ain kalima has a kasra, so we drop the waw. So this was the rule for the daraba yadribu family and for the hasiba yahsibu family. But now we have another rule. If we are going to see huruf halkiya, even if that ain kalima has a fatha, we need to drop the waw. So let's see the example here. We have wada'a. So now ain kalima. What do we see uh, here? That ain is here, huruf halkiya. We have this ain kalima as this, or here you see wada'a, the ain kalima. The ain here is from huruf halkiya. This lam kalima. Lam kalima is ain, that is one of the huruf halkiya. So this is from the fatah family, wada'a. So we have wada'a yada'u, wada'a yada'u. Again, we see the dropping of the waw. We do not see this fa kalima, the waw here in the fi'l mudari. We do see here the dropping or the hasf of the waw kalima. What is the reason? The reason is that we have lam kalima as huruf halkiya, as one of the huruf halkiya. We know that it has the fatha here. But what happens here, that we have ain here for lam kalima, and that is one of the huruf halkiya. So again, you need to drop the waw. You need to drop the waw. We know that it is not from Daraba Yadribu family, it is not from Hasiba Yasibu family, but what happens here? There is a third condition, that when the Ain Kalima or the Lam Kalima is one of the Huruf Halkiya, we need to drop the waw. We need to drop the waw. Here you see this is from Fataha family, but because this ain is one of the huruf halkiya, we need to drop the waw. And then wada is yada'u and not yoda'u. It is yada'u. We need to drop this weak letter. Wow. This is what you see here in this misal wawi. Also, the last rule for today is for misal wawi is the dropping of the waw in the masdar of misal wawi in abwab salasi mujarrad. So let's see here. We see if the masdar of the misal wawi verb is on the pattern of elon. We have like here you see wa'adan, wa'idatan. So this was highlighted because we know that it is on the pattern of fi'alun. So here it is on fi'alun, so we need to drop the waw. So its haraka is transferred to the ain kalima and ta mabuda is added at the end. So these are the steps that you need to follow. Here, ve'idun becomes by dropping of the waw become idun, and then we need to add ta marbuta. This is how you get idatan. The two masdars. Wahadan, that one was a simple one for like darban. Also, we do see idatan, and that is how we get this idatan. Dropping the waw in the masdar of the misal wawi. So, if the masdar of the misal wawi verb is on the pattern of fa'ilun, the waw is dropped. So, it is re'idun. So, we have this idun. And then what's the third and the last step is that we need to add tamar buta, and this is how we get idadun. So these are the rules for misal wawi that we have learned today, inshallah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Let's see one more uh, rule, inshallah. See here, dropping the waw in the mazhar. If a misal wawi verb has a mudare whose ain kalima has fatha on it, like here we see this, the waw is dropped. So here we see wasi'a yas'u, wasi'a yas'u. This is the fi'l mudari yas'u. While we see here the waw is dropped for fi'l mudari, we see here, and we do see here that the ain kalima has a fatha. Wasi'a yas'u. So we have another rule for the masdar. We have another rule for the masdar here. So dropping the waw in the masdar. Let's see here. Was'an wasa'adan. Was'an wasa'adan. So where is, we do not see here the waw. Where's the waw now? So what's the rule for here is that wis'on was'an wasa'adan. Wis'on becomes seon. The waw is dropped. And then we have this tamarbuta added. Also, one thing that you need to remember is that it can also be read with a fatha like sa'adun. Wison, seon become sa'atun or si'atun because we have in the mudare, we have on the ain kalima, we have the fatha. That is why for the masdar, we can put a fatha or we can put a kasra. This is another rule that we have learned today, inshallah. So that is for the masdar, we will drop the waw, and also we can pronounce it with the fatha or with the kasra. Like you can see here, se'atun or sa'atun. Both are valid because we have in the fa'il mudari, the ain kalima has a fatha. So we have two valid masdars with the dropping of the waw. Wasan, wasatan, or si'atan. Both are valid. What is the reason? The reason is for the fa'il mudari, we see ain kalima with a fatha. So we learned few rules. Let's just have a recap. We see that there is no change or the person is not affected at all. There is no change in the fi'l madi like wa'ada ya'idu. In the example, we see the present tense drops the harf illa altogether. Like here, you can see yaudu, idu becomes ya'idu, yauda'u becomes yadau, or you can call it yahabu, or yahabu becomes yahabu. So there is dropping of the waw in fi'l mudari. Also, there are always at least two masdar, and one of them is always on the pattern of ilatan. This is what you need to remember. So here, wa'adan wa idatan it is on fi'alan. This is on the pattern of ilatan. So we always see two masdars, and one is always on the pattern of this fi'alan, or you can say ilatan, idatan. So this is the other rule that you need to remember. So three rules we learned. The past tense is not affected at all. The present tense drops the harf illa, as you can see the example here. And also there are always at least two masdar, and one of them is always on the pattern of ilatan, fi'alan, idatan, like this. So these are the three rules that you need to remember. Till now, also, we learned that how this omitting of the vowel is happening. Like we have the ain kalima with the kasra, so vowel is dropping. Like we see in the families, dariba, daraba, yadribu, hasiba, yahsibu. So we have in the faili mudari, we have kasra on the ain kalima, we are dropping the vowel. But there is also for the fatha, we do see some letters or the root letters in which we do not need to drop the vowel, but we do see a vowel dropped in many of the cases. So we have Bab Daraba, Bab Hasiba, and Bab Fataha. We see the omission of the vowel. Also, we learned about Huruf Halkiya, that if the Ain or the Lam kalima, because we know that the Fa kalima is harf illa, because we are learning about Misal Wawi. But what about Ain and the Lam kalima? Now, if the Ain or the Lam kalima, one of the huruf halkiya, we need to drop the vowel, even if we do see Ain kalima has a fatha, but we need to drop the vowel. This is what we learn. As you can see in the example for fatha family, wada'a, yada'u, wada'a, yada'u. We see that we have the Ain kalima with a fatha, but what happens here that Lam kalima is Ain, and Ain is one of the huruf halkiya. That is why the vowel is dropped. We also learn about the masdar rules, two masdar rules. One is that uh, if it is on the pattern of ilun, we need to drop the harf illa. Also, we need to add a ta marbuta in the end. And we also learn that we can have two types of pronunciation for the masdar. Like here we see sa'atun and si'atun. Why? Because again, for faili mudare, we see on the ain kalima there is a fatha. So these are the few rules for misal wawi, and inshallah we are going to continue misal wawi in the next session. Barakallahu li wa lakum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.